Hi guys, Tom Sicily Jr. here, aka Mustached, here to review the movie Top Gun Maverick. If you end up enjoying this full review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. The first will head you over to a new petition that I have started a bit ago to help smaller YouTubers get their own tab featured on the YouTube page so that YouTubers of a smaller scale and size can be more easily found. This is something that should have been introduced a while ago, but still hasn't, so I'm trying to push for it as much as possible. We'll be sending that to Susan, CEO of YouTube, if it gets any traction, but we will see. Other than that, you can also check out my Patreon and PayPal. Any support in that will be greatly appreciated, and you can join my Discord, which will be the fourth link in the description, and shilling will be reminded at the end of the review. With all that out of the way, let's get into Top Gun Maverick. Okay, so I have seen the trailer for this movie a few times, and after watching the movie, in fact, I decided to look it up, and in fact, Top Gun Maverick isn't the first movie of its kind. There was a original Top Gun, way earlier movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna just have to assume that this is a sequel of sorts to that movie. And the other thing of note is that I am not in favor of the whole journal thing that came from this particular movie of like, oh, Tom Cruise is saving Hollywood. And the thing about that is like, Tom Cruise is a fine actor and all, but saving Hollywood, that does seem a bit excessive. And I mean, I saw a much better movie in Everything Everywhere All at Once, so not sure if that is an accurate statement, and I'm pretty sure there'll be other action movies that come along the way. I'm sure they're not dead or were never dead, you know, outside of superhero movies, which the only ones that are seemingly relevant for that is Spider-Man, and maybe some DC movies. Maybe Batman might be pulling up in the ranks of that again, but point is, this movie's fine. It's fine. It has some issues, which again I'll be pointing out because I want to be as objective as possible. With that being said, let's get into the story and plot and stuff like that. So the movie starts in 1969, and we begins to see some planes heading out, with a lovely cover of Danger Zone in the background. We get told that they need to beat Mach 9 to keep their operation up and going, but it gets pushed up to Mach 10, and the leader of this little group called Kane is heading in, but Maverick is ready to push beyond to that limits and indeed reaches 10 and even beyond that slightly. But the comms go off and he ends up like in a diner somewhere. And through all of his, highlights, he still has remained a captain after all this time. So he's on the verge of getting fired for his, I guess, succeeding. I don't know how this stuff works. I guess that's how it works. When you succeed, you get fired. I don't know. It's weird. The forces are weird sometimes. I don't know what to tell you guys. Anyway, in California, we learn of the target of which they need to get rid of, which is like this uranium stuff, evil stuff for short. And they need a team of 6 for him to train, because he can't be a part of the squad anymore, or whatever. So Iceman calls him in. Iceman's like his guy, I guess. And the two squads meet up at this other diner where Maverick meets his old sweetheart, I suppose. And each one of them has their own call sign, or, nickname, I suppose is another way of putting it. We have Bob, who's, Bob, We have Hangman and Rooster on one end, and we have a few others that are coming in as well. Point is that Maverick is eventually pulled away and then kicked out. It starts to get bad memories of being away for that long, and them singing somehow the same exact song that he heard all those years ago, which is a bit convenient, but okay. Anyway, so after that, we see the team arrive at their little opening ceremony, or whatever you want to call it. And we learn a little bit of backstory about how Rooster, one of the guys there, was held back by Maverick. We also see Amelia, his crush, as I mentioned earlier, and it cuts to him getting a little boat lesson for like a little bit. Pretty irrelevant, all things considered, so okay. We then cut to the first class where they need to stay under 300 feet, or whatever the amount of feet is. And it's a montage, of course, of all their failures at the beginning. And Maverick just showing them off, or, just killing, quote-unquote, killing them with, like, the lock-on system, and that's an indication of death in this. So, Ice pulls him aside, and he goes to the Admiral. So Maverick ends up in this sort of lose-lose sort of situation of either telling Rooster, or either trying to prevent him from dying, or holding on to the grudge forever of, like, being held back. And what do you know, the outcome ended up being, oh, he just did the good thing and brought him along, and they both lived, which is cool, I guess. So anyways, during their training, they hang out on the beach for a bit to play some offense-defense team-building stuff. And it's all a part of the plan. So he goes to the wife, or mother/mother character that he loves. We learn more about Rooster and how it was his mom, after their dad died. The dad died. That it was like, oh, promise me that you'll do the whole hold back thing, and then all the process of that. Maverick gets a little bit more comfortable with his lady, getting a kiss and a bit of action, maybe, I don't know. But Amelia catches on, the daughter, and says, you better not break her heart. Oops, give me a second here. Okay. So, after that, I got lost my notes for a bit. Give me a second. So, Maverick continues with the training mission, and obviously the squads are having trouble. We have Bob and Phoenix who are teamed up, or ending up having to eject. We have two others as well, and one of them is like getting ready to crash. And Rooster's still mad at Maverick after all this time. And abrupt cut after that to the Admiral dying, and Maverick being punished since the Admiral's not having his back anymore. So he gets grounded. So he sets up the new... So, in an anarchist approach, he breaks the rules once again and breaks the low time that they had set up, and with the whole, like, being low to the ground. To show that it's possible, and he does so successfully, giving the team hope. And Maverick, now picking the team, of course, includes Rooster, as I mentioned earlier. So the team begins to head out. The teams consist of two other individuals, Payback and Fanboy, as well as Phoenix and Bob, and himself and Rooster. Those are our two teams of squads. Two of them which fall behind on the main mission, but they initially get the job done. However, in the process of getting out, Maverick gets hit. His plane goes down after some enemy fire. Rooster falls back, also gets hit, and now he needs to get to Maverick. So the two of them go to steal an enemy jet. They manage to not only find the only one left in the runway, they get to it undetected, take it all, do all the necessary things to get it to run and get it off the runway, all without interruption. Wow, that's a major convenience for them, don't you think? So they get out. They get told that they need to land the plane when they're in the air. Rooster sends a signal back to the squad, back at the base. He then, when they're safe-ish, he uses the line that Maverick was using on him earlier, only to then proceeded to get chased by an enemy pro-pilot, which is their greatest challenge. And they take them down, this individual down, only to get chased by another guy. But this time, they get saved by a Deus Ex Machina from Hangman, who comes abruptly out of nowhere with his jet to save them. Once again, it's sort of crazy that this is the second time that I have had to mention the phrase Deus Ex Machina this quickly, but here we are. Of course, Deus Ex Machina, once again meaning end of machine, loosely speaking. And the movie couldn't even take the time necessary to do any setup with this, of Hangman starting to, leave and get there. He just appears there, so yes, this is a literal Deus Ex Machina. He literally appears in a machine at the end of the movie to save the day. And in that, Maverick gets the lady, the team is successful, it's a win-win-win all the way around, except there are a few issues, as I mentioned before. So, overall, a pretty enjoyable movie with a few flaws here, most of them conveniences, one of them an extreme convenience in the form of a Deus Ex Machina, and you have yourself a good 6 out of 10 movie, I feel. Again, solid, but it does have a few more noticeable issues when you actually take the time and don't suck the movie's cock and, be objective about the movie. So, it's still good, but it does have, again, just a few more issues worth pointing out to be objective. And there are just a few things you can do to help avoid that. Like I said, for the whole Hangman getting there, you can actually just show him prepping to get there and, starting to get there. That little segment would have taken a few minutes to show, and you could have did it, and you didn't. You just have him appear, so other conveniences could have probably also easily been avoided, quite frankly. But that is the way of things in this, is that sometimes you just get conveniences for convenience sake. So that is all I gotta say. A relatively short-ish movie, so there isn't much else to say in this regard. So that is my full review of Top Gun Maverick. If you ended up enjoying it, once again, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you over to my petition to help smaller YouTubers get their own tab. The second to my Patreon, third to my PayPal, and fourth to my Discord. Any donations of the two previous are greatly appreciated and will help support me and the channel. And the first of the petition will help all smaller YouTubers find their voice, find their way to be featured on YouTube prominently for once in YouTube's lifespan. That'd be neat. Anyways, Until next time, everyone, bye-bye.